In the year 632, the Prophet Muhammad died in the city of Medina. He had unified the tribes of Arabia under one faith, delivered a scripture his followers believed came directly from God, and built a community unlike anything the region had ever seen. And then he was gone, and he left behind no universally agreed successor. Within hours of his death, before his body was even buried, the community he built faced one question: who leads now? That single question, asked in a courtyard in Medina 14 centuries ago, split Islam into two branches. Today those branches are called Sunni and Shia. Nearly 2 billion people belong to one or the other. And most people, including many Muslims, cannot accurately explain what actually divides them. Here's what almost everyone gets wrong. The split was not originally about theology. It was not about how to pray, what to believe about God, or how to interpret the Quran. It began as a political question about leadership, and only over centuries did it harden into two distinct religious identities with different sources of authority, different rituals of mourning, and different visions of how God guides humanity after the final prophet. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly how the split happened, what Sunnis and Shias actually believe differently, what they share, which is far more than the headlines suggest, and why a 1400-year-old succession dispute still shapes wars, alliances, and politics today. Let's go back to that courtyard. When Muhammad died, two positions emerged almost immediately. One group of senior companions gathered and selected Abu Bakr, the Prophet's closest friend, his companion during the migration to Medina, and the man Muhammad had asked to lead prayers during his final illness. Their reasoning was practical. The community needed a leader now, and it should be the most capable and respected man among them, chosen by consultation and consensus. Abu Bakr became the first caliph, a word that simply means successor. But another group believed the succession had already been decided by the Prophet himself. They pointed to an event a few months earlier at a place called Ghadir Khoum, where Muhammad, returning from his final pilgrimage, took the hand of his cousin and son-in-law Ali ibn Abi Talib and declared, "Whoever I am the master of, Ali is his master." For this group, the meaning was unmistakable. Ali was the designated successor. He was the Prophet's blood relative, raised in his household, married to his daughter Fatima, father of his only surviving grandsons. Leadership of the community, they argued, was not a job to be filled by vote. It was a sacred trust that belonged to the Prophet's family, chosen by God, announced by the Prophet. These supporters became known as Shiat Ali, the party of Ali. Over time, the name shortened to Shia. Those who accepted Abu Bakr's caliphate and the principle that leaders emerged through community consensus eventually became known as Ahl al-Sunnah, the people of the tradition, Sunnis. Now here's the detail that surprises most people. Ali did not launch a rebellion. He disagreed, and his supporters never stopped believing he had been wronged. But he eventually accepted Abu Bakr's leadership for the sake of unity, and he did the same under the next two caliphs, Umar and Uthman. He advised them. He served the community. For 24 years, the dispute stayed largely beneath the surface. Then it exploded. In 656, the third caliph, Uthman, was assassinated by rebels angry at his governance. In the chaos that followed, Ali was finally chosen as the fourth caliph, the outcome his supporters had waited a quarter century for. But he inherited a community fracturing under civil war. Muawiyah, the powerful governor of Syria and a relative of the murdered Uthman, refused to accept Ali's authority until the assassins were punished. Armies were raised. Muslims fought Muslims at the Battle of Siffin. And in 661, Ali himself was assassinated, struck down while praying in a mosque in Kufa. Muawiyah took the caliphate and founded the Umayyad dynasty, turning the leadership of Islam into something the early community had never intended it to be, a hereditary kingdom. And that set the stage for the event that transformed a political disagreement into a permanent religious divide. If you want more breakdowns like this, every world religion explained clearly and honestly, subscribe to Atlas of Religion. Now the event that changed everything. In 680, Muawiyah died and passed power to his son Yazid, a ruler widely regarded, even in Sunni sources, as corrupt and impious. Yazid demanded an oath of allegiance from Hussein, the son of Ali, the grandson of the Prophet Muhammad himself. Hussein refused. He set out from Mecca toward Kufa, with his family and a small band of followers, around 72 fighting men, along with women and children, at a desert plain called Karbala, in what is now Iraq. Yazid's army intercepted them. Thousands of soldiers surrounded the Prophet's grandson. They cut off his access to water. For days his family, including small children, suffered thirst in the desert heat. On the 10th day of the month of Muharram, a date known as Ashura, the army attacked. Hussein's companions were killed one by one. His sons died. His nephews died. And finally Hussein himself, the child the Prophet had carried on his shoulders, was killed, his body trampled, his head severed and carried to Yazid's court. Karbala is the wound at the heart of Shia Islam. It transformed the party of Ali from a political position into a spiritual identity built around sacrifice, martyrdom and resistance to unjust power. Every year on Ashura, Shia Muslims around the world mourn Hussein's death, weeping, chanting elegies, marching in processions, reenacting the tragedy the way it happened 14 centuries ago. The lesson of Karbala, repeated in every generation: it is better to die with dignity than live under tyranny. Sunni Muslims also regard Hussein's killing as a tragedy and Yazid's action as a crime. But in Sunni Islam, Karbala is a dark, historical episode. In Shia Islam, it is the defining event of sacred history after the revelation itself. So after the history, what do the two branches actually believe differently? It comes down to one core question, and everything else flows from it. After the final prophet, how does God's guidance continue? The Sunni answer: through the community. The Quran and the Sunnah, the recorded example of the prophet, contain everything needed. Scholars study these sources, and legitimate understanding emerges through consensus and scholarship. No human being after Muhammad carries divine authority. Leaders are administrators, not spiritual intermediaries. This is why Sunni Islam has no formal clergy hierarchy. Imams lead prayers and scholars issue opinions, but no one stands between the believer and God. The Shia answer through the Imams. God would never leave humanity without a divinely guided leader. After the Prophet, that guidance passed to Ali, and then through a line of his descendants, the Imams, each one appointed by God, each one possessing perfect understanding of the Quran's inner meaning, each one sinless in his guidance of the community. The largest Shia branch, the Twelvers, holds that there were 12 Imams. The 12th, Muhammad al-Mahdi, did not die. In the year 874, as a child, he entered what is called occultation, hidden from the world by God, still alive, waiting. One day he will return as the Mahdi, the guided one, to fill the earth with justice as it was filled with injustice. That belief shapes everything in Shia religious life. Because the Imam is hidden, senior scholars, ayatollahs, act as his representatives, which is why Shia Islam developed the structured religious hierarchy that Sunni Islam never had. It is also why the Iranian Revolution of 1979 could produce a state run by clerics, an idea that makes sense inside Twelver Shia theology and has no real equivalent in the Sunni world. There are smaller differences too. Shia and Sunni Muslims rely on different hadith collections, the recorded sayings of the Prophet, because each side trusted different chains of transmitters after the split. Prayer postures differ slightly. Shia Muslims often combine the 5 daily prayers into 3 sessions. Shia communities observe mourning rituals. Sunnis do not practice. Sunni Islam distributed itself across 4 major legal schools, while Shia law follows its own jurisprudence. But here is what both share, and this is the part the conflict headlines never tell you. One God, one Quran, the exact same text, letter for letter, one prophet, the same 5 pillars: declaration of faith, prayer, charity, fasting and Ramadan, pilgrimage to Mecca. Sunnis and Shias pray toward the same Kaaba, fast the same month, and stand side by side in the same pilgrimage at Mecca every year. A Sunni and a Shia agree on vastly more than they disagree on. If you are finding this valuable, hit the like button. It genuinely helps this channel grow. Which raises the obvious question: if they share that much, why does the modern world look like a permanent Sunni-Shia war? Because most of what gets labelled sectarian conflict today is political conflict wearing religious clothing. For most of Islamic history, Sunnis and Shias lived side by side, trading, intermarrying, studying in each other's cities. The modern escalation traces largely to geopolitics, the rivalry between Saudi Arabia, which positions itself as the leader of the Sunni world, and Iran, which since 1979 positions itself as the vanguard of Shia Islam. Their competition for regional dominance, fought through proxies in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon and Yemen, weaponized a 1400-year-old succession dispute and turned it into a modern power struggle. The theology is real, the history is real, but the wars are about power, and religion is the recruitment banner. Roughly 85 to 90% of the world's Muslims are Sunni. Shia Muslims make up about 10 to 15%, concentrated in Iran, Iraq, Bahrain, Azerbaijan and Lebanon, with significant communities in Pakistan, India and the Gulf, which means the story most people carry, Islam, as two equal halves locked in eternal war, is wrong twice. The proportions are wrong and the eternal war is wrong. What's true is this: 14 centuries ago, a community lost its prophet and had to answer an impossible question: who speaks for God when the messenger is gone? One answer said, the community, through consensus and scholarship. The other said, the prophet's family, through divine appointment. Both answers were sincere. Both produced rich civilizations, brilliant scholarship, and profound devotion. And the distance between them, the entire distance, began with a question about succession that was never really about hatred at all. Thank you for watching. If this video gave you a clearer picture of the world's second largest religion than years of headlines ever did, subscribe to Atlas of Religion. We explain every world religion with the same honesty, and drop a comment telling us which religion or split you want explained next. If you want to keep going, the next video is right here. I'll see you there.